In this video, Dr. Jordan Peterson talks about the ripple effect and how important you are in society.
And I also don't think that the connections between people and the society are as abstract and distant as we think, because you might think, well, what the hell difference could it possibly make, the way I behave? It's like, well, you're a node in a network. You're not an individual connected by a linear line to another individual connected to a linear line by another individual in a line that's 7 billion people long. That would make you nothing. You could just pull you out and the line would reclose and that would be the end of that. You're a node in a network and the network's communicating. And we know, for example, that you're roughly going to interact with, in some serious way, 1,000 people in your lifetime. That's a minimum estimate. So and all those people know 1,000 people, so that's 1,000,000 people that are one person away from you, and 2 people away from you is 1 billion people. And as soon as you get to 3, well, that's far more people than there are. So you're only 3 or 4 or 5 connections away from everyone. And so it's very, very difficult to know exactly how your behaviors and misbehaviors echo and ripple. And we know that people can be tremendous forces for good. We know that because we do see people like that from time to time, and we certainly know plenty about the reverse. And so God only knows what role you play in determining, whether the part and the whole of mankind goes seriously wrong or seriously right. But I wouldn't dismiss it as a fantasy. From everything I've seen, what you do definitely affects your family. What your family does definitely affects the community, and what the community does definitely affects the state. Like, it doesn't take much rippling for these things to start to have effects. It doesn't, for example, it doesn't take that many people in a country to cheat on their income tax before the whole damn economy falls apart. I doubt if it's more than 10%. And it's miraculous that there are countries where that doesn't happen. But there are, and God only knows why. Anyways, it's worth thinking about. Because people ask questions like, well, does life have any meaning? I can tell you one meaning that it has. Like, it's perfectly reasonable for you to devote yourself to not producing any more suffering than is absolutely necessary. Because I don't care what you think about meaning and the absence of positive meaning. It's pretty damn hard to deny pain. And you could at minimum live in such a way that you're least likely to create mayhem and misery. So, maybe that's not enough, but at least it's a start. And I certainly know that if you don't decide to live that way, the probability that you can cause serious trouble is extraordinarily high. And so you got to ask yourself, is that what you want? Because it is sometimes what people want. So, I think it's an abdication of responsibility, and I think it's resentful and weak to do that. So I think there's nothing in it but misery and weakness.